I'm Ian Sommerville, and I chose Chapter 6, Memory, as a topic for this presentation. Memory is defined as something that we remember from the past or a recollection of the past. I have chose this because I've had family members that have dealt with problems of memory and forgetting things due to medical reasons or old age. The two most well-known and that have the greatest effect on most people that affect memory are Alzheimer's and dementia. Alzheimer's is a progressive and fatal brain disease where cell-to-cell connection to the brain is lost, and 1 to 5% of the world's population is affected by this. Dementia is a progressive deterioration of thinking ability and memory as the brain becomes damaged. The first topic in this memory section is short-term memory. The definition of short-term memory is a part of the memory system where information is stored for roughly 30 seconds. Characteristics of this is memory can last from 30 seconds to 1 minute. Perfect distinction can last normally from 10 to 12 seconds, and it's easiest to recall the first and last thing of what you're memorizing. Short-term memory strategies, chunking, which is breaking things down into groups of 2 or 3 letters or words in order to memorize them as a chunk and not the whole word or phrase. The serial position effect is the first and last letters of the word being the most distinct because of where the brain starts and ends the memorization. So as you can see in the bottom right corner is an example of chunking. It is breaking down these groups of letters into 3 at a time and then making them into words that we would remember and that we're used to in everyday life instead of trying to memorize them all in random order at the same time. So causes of short-term memory loss: head injuries, aging, substance abuse, stress, and the symptoms of these are forgetting where you put things often, forgetting recent events, and asking the same question several times. So how many people are affected by short-term memory loss? According to a study done in 2018, 1 in 9 adults living in the U.S. reported issues with short-term memory loss. The second section in this is long-term memory. The definition is the storage and ability to remember things for an extended period of time. So, characteristics of long-term memory is it can be a product of our imagination, and we mostly remember things that had an impact on what we did or how we are now. So what I mean by a product of our imagination is that we can believe that the event happened the way we think it did, but in reality, since it's been so long since it happened and maybe we didn't have a strong emotional connection to it, some of the details can get a little bit fuzzy, and so our brain fills it in with what we think could have happened or what maybe did or didn't happen, and so it might not always be what the actual reality was. So the things that affect long-term memory loss: stress, depression, side effects of prescription drugs, which usually happens from taking them long-term, head injuries. So the symptoms of this is getting lost in familiar places or taking longer to do everyday tasks. So how many people are affected by long-term memory loss? About over 20% of adults over the age of 60 years old, according to a study done in 2013, have some sort of long-term memory loss. So why do we remember certain things but not others? Events that are surprising, emotionally stirring, or important are usually the ones we remember in the most detail and clarity. This is called a flashbulb, when a memory is closely tied with an emotion of how we felt during that time. So this can be tied to something that makes us happy, so we might remember this certain event in a lot greater detail because it had such a impact on how we were feeling at that time or how we remember it and the lasting impact that it's had on us. And these are my three sources that I used for this presentation. Thank you for listening and have a good day.